New Orleans Saints rookie quarterback Spencer Rattler on being named the starting quarterback. Our savior, the king of the universe, the great one, Spencer Rattler, soon to be the mayor of New Orleans, the president, and my favorite player, Spencer, in his own words. So Rattler is going to talk about the important job of being named the starting quarterback for this Sunday's matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which just so happens to be a must-win game, which just so happens to be the season on the brink, which just so happens to be arguably the most important game that Spencer Rattler has ever played in the Superdome in front of me and 70-something thousand of my closest friends.
All right, Spencer, just first, with this opportunity ahead, just how excited are you for it?
Very excited. You know, it's something you work toward your whole life. You know, as a kid, very fortunate to be in this position. You know, like I said earlier, it sucks that Derek got hurt. You know, our leader of our team, one of the best dudes in the building. But, you know, have a job to do. Got to go out there and execute at a high level.
Great answer. I'll say this about Rattler. It does feel a little different, right? It doesn't feel like Ian Book or Jake Haener or Trevor Siemian or even Jameis Winston. It feels like something special. And maybe that's just me sucking down a couple of liters of copium. Maybe that's me, maybe even mixing in a couple gallons of hopium. But the point is that I believe Spencer Rattler, his story, the whole thing, the journey, I think he's ready for this. And I think it's one of those like storybook moments. So you just can't, you know, sometimes sports is a very curious thing, and sports has a way of kind of creating these moments. And Rattler, I mean, the fact that he's starting, the fact that he's in this position, in this kind of a situation where, hey, it's a must-win game. Hey, the whole city is on the brink. Hey, you're at home. Buccaneers in the building. And he's the guy. You know, he's the guy that we're turning to. We saw some promise. We saw something in the preseason. Sometimes you just got to say, you know what? Maybe we are in the middle of some kind of a storyline. Maybe we are in the middle of some kind of one of those moments you see on ESPN or on every single Instagram channel for the next week of all this stuff about Rattler. Maybe we're right in the front of it. I don't know, but it does feel different. I do have a little bit of positivity, a little bit of that hopium, that copium, that maybe we're about to see something special.
How'd you react to the news?
It was exciting. You know, found out Tuesday morning. It was exciting. You know, they have confidence in me, but, you know, I love our group. You know, we got so many talented dudes that I can lean on and don't have to do too much and just facilitate the ball to them.
What was the message from DA to you about starting?
Yeah, you know, I spoke to Clint about it.
Personally, I think it was Clint's call. I think Allen wanted Haener, and I think Kubiak wanted Rattler. And I think at the end of the day, Rattler won out, or Kubiak won out. That's just I have nothing concrete to base that off of, just rumors and stories that I've heard. But I think this was a Kubiak call, and I'm glad that Allen kind of said, okay, you know, if this is who you think can do it, all right. So I also like that puts a little extra emphasis on Clint, right? Like if Clint stuck his neck out and said, I want Rattler to be the starter, that means, hey, brother, you can't run Alvin Kamara into Vita Vea for 30 consecutive plays. Like, you're going to have to get really creative. You're going to have to get really, really outside the box here to make sure that Rattler succeeds. Word on the street is that this game plan was developed and is developed, and this system or whatever we're about to see Sunday was done with Spencer Rattler exclusively in mind. Like, this is not going to be Spencer Rattler cosplaying as Derek Carr. This is going to be, what does the New Orleans Saints offense look like with Spencer Rattler as a starting quarterback, which is a wild thing to say.
You know, Clint said, hey, let's have a great week. Let's prepare at a high level, put a great plan together. And, you know, it was brief and short, and we got to work. So that was good.
Spencer, Dennis said you have always had a no-flinch mentality. I know a lot of people have described that in you. Is that something you picked up along the way, or you've had that since middle school?
Yeah, I feel like that's something, you know, I've had since I was a kid. You know, I think just playing multiple sports coming up, always being a super competitive in whatever I did, you know, going to middle school in PE, playing dodgeball, kickball. I mean, just being ultra competitive, and then, you know, being able to go through success and adversity at the college level. You know, I think that develops that no-flinch mentality, I guess you could say. But, you got to be fearless as a quarterback, and I think that's the number one key you got to have.
I don't know if y'all have ever been around the 1% of the 1%. Have you ever been around the kind of guys who are like the legit athletes, the legitimate superstars? I don't mean the best player at a 2A high school in Louisiana. I don't mean the best player on a 3A team in Mississippi that ends up going to Delta State and plays 4 years. And I don't mean that. I don't even mean a player who plays at Southern Miss or Louisiana Tech or ULL. I mean like 5-star 5-stars. I mean like going to the Elite 11 camp and winning. I mean going to Oklahoma or Texas or USC, winning out the job, being the guy. That's that kind of guy. They do tick different, and they are a different type of person. And that's something we talked about it when Spencer got drafted, that he does have, and he has a very interesting, unique, weird, however you want to phrase it, kind of story where, and I don't want to pick on Jake Haener here, but like if you look at Haener, like Haener had a fine career. Haener, I don't want to say like the stakes weren't that high or whatever, but players like Haener, they get to a certain point and good for them, but they're not at that like 1% of the 1% type situation that I'm talking about. And I don't even mean succeeding at the 1% of the 1%. I mean just like you're the number one prospect. You're the Heisman favorite. You're the starter at Oklahoma. You're doing that. Like Spencer Rattler won the Elite 11 camp. You got to have, I know we're a family channel, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't want to, we're going to peel back the curtain here. It's about to get TV 14, but you got to have some big nuts to be in that world. Even if you're just dipping your toes in that world, even if you're just barely in that world, the fact that Rattler was in that world and the fact that Rattler does have that in his experience, in his bag of tricks is perfect for this situation. Because if you've ever been around people like that, I don't care if they're playing golf. I don't care if they're playing video games. I don't care if you're playing pool basketball. That mentality, that whatever the hell is in them that's different, that's pushed them to that level, it's there. And they can't turn it off. And there's not a doubt in my mind that even though Oklahoma didn't work out, even though he goes to South Carolina, there's not a doubt in my mind that mentality and that whatever that is still somewhere inside of Spencer Rattler.
Were you cooking kids in dodgeball? I mean, you always been able to throw like that?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was.
You started as a freshman in college, and then you go to, started South Carolina. Obviously, I know, picking up new things. First starts in different situations have always been pretty comfortable for you as far as?
You're going to be anxious, definitely excited. Got to get those nerves out, but that's just the nature of the beast. You got to go out there and play, fall back on your preparation. We've had a great week so far and got another, 24, 48 hours to clean it up. So I'm excited for the opportunity to go out there with the guys.
Spencer, how good a grasp do you have of this offense? Has there been any shaving back for you, or do you feel like you have a pretty good grasp of everything?
Yeah.
I do like to give reporters, kudos and tips and advice and all that stuff. Because again, I was a former crime reporter at a Pulitzer Prize-winning newspaper. Interviewed Robin Roberts multiple times. Nancy Pelosi drove Sinbad to the airport. And that was a great question. Fantastic question. Great timing, too, because previously it had all been the stuff like your makeup and you're excited and how you feel. And now we're getting down to the brass tacks. Now we're getting down to the X's and O's. Let's peel back a little bit of, okay, what is this offense going to look like? What are you ready to do? Good question.
I feel very confident about the plan. Something I love about Clint and our offensive staff is, we tailor it to who's playing.
Okay, so that backs up what I said earlier, is that I heard that it was pretty much Rattler's game plan. It's not a Derek Carr game plan. Let's put Rattler in. So I'm glad to hear that.
I like that a lot. Feel confident about it, and we've had a great week so far.
You know how like this whole week we've been saying like, man, I wish Clint would have adjusted. Man, Clint would have done something different against Kansas City. Man, I wish Clint would have done this. That's what I mean. Like when you're in these situations, it forces the OC to adjust. It forces the OC to get creative. It forces the OC to get kind of out of their comfort zone, which is why I don't think there's any way we're going to see what we saw against Philly and what we saw against Kansas City. And those are the two games I picked because those are the two games where we faced the really problematic defensive front. And those are the two games where we just completely shut down. Out of the entire season, those are the two big asterisk marks of this doesn't look like the same team. Like the Atlanta game, we lost, but we still played like the Saints. It was just kind of it was what it was. And then obviously Dallas and Carolina was a whole different story. But Philly and KC, it might as well have been last year. It looked like a totally different team. With Rattler in there, and it's forcing this coaching staff to be the best that they can be, I don't think there's any way that we see what we saw against KC in Philadelphia, and that's good for us because that was trash.
How much do you feel like you've improved even in the weeks since we last saw you play a game?
Yeah, a ton. I mean, I think I was talking to Nick the other day, just about going against the ones every day on scout team. I know I'm not getting hit or this and that, but those are full speed reps, and took total advantage of them because that's one of the best defenses in the league, and that's going to prepare you for whenever you have your shot.
Spencer, you mentioned playing on a high level, but playing in those high competitions on the collegiate level, how did it prepare you for this?
Great question. I think obviously you got to take another step at this level. It's going to be a lot harder. It's going to be a big challenge for us on Sunday. It's a great defense, great team, great coaches. So football is football. You got to go out there and trust in your training, trust in your playmakers, and go out there and just play, cut it loose.
You talked a little bit about the anxiousness in those other situations where you've had your first start in a new situation. What is it that sort of clicks in a game that makes you kind of settle in? What's that?
I think and kind of that 1% of the 1% what I'm talking about, I think they inherently, whether it's a God complex, whether it's their ego being out of control, whether it's whatever, but it seemingly has just an unflappable self-confidence. No matter what situation they're in, they think I should have the ball in my hands right now. I am the best player in this field right now. I am in control of this. I can do this. Like you remember, I don't know if y'all ever remember playing Little League baseball or something, but if there was a moment where you're thinking man, do not let this ball get hit to me. Can we just get out of the inning? Let it just be a dribbler to third base or something. Let me just get out of here. Their mindset is always hit it at me. Hit it at me. I want the ball to be hit at me. I want to make the play. I want to make the diving catch. I want to make the throw, whatever. It's a different kind of thing. And so I would assume at every stop and along the way, Rattler has had that in him, and that's his mindset going into this.
That moment for you usually?
I think just, getting the ball out of your hand, getting a few completions early, taking a hit or two, get your juices flowing. I think, that helps a lot. But, as the game goes on, you get more calm, and you got to be cool, calm, and collected in the pocket as a quarterback, specifically in the leader.
Big true.
Has this week felt different for you? I mean, I know guys say all the time they're preparing as if they're playing, but the guys are looking
personally,
at
it has
starting
to.
quarterback. You go into the week knowing you're the starting quarterback. Is there anything that changes for you?
Yeah, it's been different for sure. A lot more on my plate, but it's been awesome. Taking full advantage of it, preparing at even a higher level. Really dialing in on all the little details. That's been the big thing for me this week. Watching more tape, studying more film, and just being around the guys more, getting extra reps, and you get a ton more reps.
I can guarantee you, Rattler is the kind of guy who he wants to be the vocal guy in the locker room. I guarantee you he stepped back a little bit because he is, at that point, he was the third string quarterback. He let Carr be the leader, all that stuff. I would bet anything that this week Rattler has been very vocal, very involved, very around the teammates. I guarantee you he picked up that leadership role and immediately is the guy in the front of the huddle, immediately the guy breaking things down at practice. 100%. I would expect that Rattler jumped into that with no hesitation and absolutely no should I be doing that? No, he just jumped straight in. 100%.
Reps in practice. So I think that helps a lot with live reps and then, getting your mental reps on the side as well.
Spencer Baker talked this week about, I guess you were on a cruise ship or something. He remember sitting in a room with you and Lincoln and maybe Kyler too. Right?
Yep.
But what do you kind of remember about that, and how special is that your first games against him?
I think it's pretty cool. I remember it was like it was yesterday. Me and my dad were sitting down, and Baker was pretty much recruiting me to come to Oklahoma, and so I was 18 years old at the time talking to him. I've always been a fan of Bake, respected Bake and how he worked, how he's overcame adversity himself. So respect the heck out of the guy, and, excited to be on the same field, not going against him, but going against his team, I think.
I mean, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, Baker Mayfield is that guy. Like, Baker Mayfield, Heisman winner. I've seen a lot of people say that just over a whole career, Baker Mayfield is the most successful college quarterback to ever play. They've had him as number one, just what he did and all that. I don't know about that, but that kind of success, that kind of a leader, that kind of whatever you want to say with Baker Mayfield, first overall pick, all those things, in the same room is Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, in his own right, highly successful at college, but also, again, I've seen plenty of rankings where people say he is the greatest quarterback to come out of Texas high school football. Think about how big of a dog you have to be the number one guy, number one quarterback in the history of Texas high school football. I gave a speech, basically. I don't want to get into what it was, you know what I'm saying? I mean, versatile background. But at Katy ISD and right outside of Dallas, it was at their high school football facility. This stadium seats like 35,000 people. It's shared between like 6 Texas high schools. The facilities were better and are better than where I went to college at Southern Miss. That's exactly what I'm saying, where there's something there. I'm not a sports psychologist, but there's something there in Rattler, in Mayfield, in Murray. And Kyler Murray's a good example too, where whatever the hell he's going through in Arizona, I guarantee you he believes he's the best player in the world. I guarantee you that's still in him on game day. And that's why Arizona can be so dangerous. The Cardinals can be a very dangerous team because of just something that Murray has and his physical skill set and his tools and all that stuff. You watch someone like Kyler Murray and you watch someone like, I'm trying to think of a random, even like a Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's had tons of success. But you watch those two guys, Murray ticks different than Brock Purdy, for sure.
I guess pretty special.
Any lessons he give you back then that you remember that just kind of stick?
I wasn't at school with him, but I sat down with him, talked with him a few times. I always respected him though.
Spencer, obviously the Saints offensive line has got some backups in a lot of places, and pressure was an issue in this last game. Your experience with that situation last year, I mean, how can that help you, like knowing that sometimes you got to speed the clock up or whatever?
Yep.
From a PR standpoint, I think the first thing Rattler should do here is immediately say he believes in his offensive line. He likes his offensive line. They're good, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, we're confident in those boys up front. They.
Am I on another level? I'm at the top of my powers right now. I'm at the peak of my powers right now. I mean, this is really unbelievable. It's shocking to me every single day I sit here and do these videos, and it's just on a whole different damn level. Jesus. God.
They grind harder than any of us in the facility every single day. We got a great protection plan, great pressure plan. This defense is going to be throwing a lot at us. So you got to trust in them. I think that's the main thing. You got to trust in them. You got to trust that pocket. And when stuff does break down, because it will, every O-line is going to break down here and there. But you got to be able to create, extend, and just find your playmakers.
Spencer, I'm sure there have been a ton of people reaching out this week. Has Archie Manning reached out at all? Have you talked to him this week?
Yep, he reached out a few days ago. Just said he's rooting for me. He's been a awesome resource to have out here. We'll text back and forth here a little bit, but he's awesome.
You was saying yesterday that your pocket feels kind of something that can't be taught. Is that just something that you've always had, or is that something you kind of developed over time? Like, where's that kind of come from?
Yeah, I think it just comes from playing the position since you were a kid. Obviously, just being able to have that feel. You can definitely coach a lot of it, but a lot of it's natural. But sometimes you just got to create that extra millisecond to get that ball out, and I always felt like I can do that pretty good. And just want to continue to get better at that.
I don't know how much time you get with these guys usually, but how do you feel so far about your connection with guys like Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed?
I feel good. Obviously got reps with him in training camp, which was good to have some familiarity with him. But no reps with him really this season so far. So this week has been big. Been targeting everybody a lot, trying to spread the ball around. So I think just trying to create that connection in a short week, it's a challenge, but it's a fun challenge.
The 228 Syndicate betting group, we believe that he's going to look for Olave a lot. And he's going to be his, like, every time Rattler says, find your playmakers, we believe that it's going to be Chris Olave. So Chris Olave receptions, probably worth a look. If you want an early betting preview, go take a look at the numbers. Best available, I believe, is 4.5, somewhere around plus 105, somewhere in there. So shop around, but Chris Olave over reception, something we believe is worth a look.
Have you been able to get a sense of how excited the fans are about this opportunity for you?
Yeah, I just try to focus on what we got going on in here. You know what I mean? Try to keep my mind just thinking about the game, thinking about how we're going to do, how we're going to execute. Obviously got a big challenge on Sunday, but I know it's going to be a great atmosphere. Happy we're at home, and obviously want to come out with a win.
Have you seen the memes and like the agenda and all that stuff though?
I try not to pay attention to that. You know what I mean? Got a lot of other stuff we got to worry about in the building.
Looking forward to this moment since you're a kid. There's like a lot of people who kind of get you to this point.
Yeah.
So what was like the reaction of family, friends, your quarterback coach who you worked with forever when you told them that you were going to start?
Yeah, man, it was special. A lot of people reaching out, a lot of former coaches, obviously, mom, pops, sister, girlfriend, everybody. Very excited. It's something we've been working forward toward a long time. So I want to go out there and play well and help my team win, and it's going to be fun.
Are you going to be there for the game on Sunday?
Yeah. Yep.
Was there anyone that you heard from that you didn't expect, that you're like, oh, this person's hitting me up?
I can't think off the top of my head. I got a ton of texts in my phone. I got to get back to.
Wasn't me. For all of you that thought he was going to say me, I didn't text him. So I know it's not no, he didn't snub me. Okay, we just didn't text. All right, so let's not get it twisted.
Did you take anything from like the rest of this rookie class of quarterbacks who played pretty well so far? I mean, do you take anything from that?
Yeah, there's a few guys that have played pretty well.
I was just about to say, the rookie class has been absolutely horrible. Caleb Williams is coming on now. Jaden Daniels has been good. Jaden Daniels didn't start good. For God's sakes, they almost lost to the Giants. And spoiler alert, the Giants suck. But, Daniels has been playing good recently. Nix has been a disaster. Williams was a disaster to start the season. So I'm not sure what the hell that guy was talking about. But, the rookie class has kind of been like, I don't know.
I enjoyed to watch as much as I can, just to see how they perform, under certain circumstances and see what they do. So, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a few guys that have played well, and, I obviously want to be one of those guys as well. So that's the plan.
Tampa has gone against a few rookie quarterbacks. Is there anything you take from that, specifically how they might try and attack you?
Yeah, I watched, Bo play him, Jaden play him, two guys I'm very familiar with, came up with. I thought they both did a good job against them, on tape. Obviously, they threw a lot at both of them, both rookie quarterbacks. I expect the same. So just got to be ready, got to be prepared, and we will.
How excited are you about the potential downfield dynamic with Rashid Shaheed and all he's done so far this season?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been exciting to watch him, man. Special talent, him, Olave. I mean, Tipton can get down the field. We got a lot of guys that can run, as you know. So, if they're there, I got to trust them, put it out in front of them, and let them just go get it.
I'm a little sick of all this deep ball Rashid Shaheed talk. If y'all not been watching the games, that's what's been getting us in trouble, is these 50-50 Rashid Shaheed balls. Can we bring it back to like intermediate routes with Chris Olave? Can we bring it back to ends and curls and digs? Good Lord.
I kind of talked to you about this week.
Yeah, man, he's been great. I mean, he said, hey, look, anything you need, I'm here. And that's the, most solid dude I've been around. You know what I mean? Just people person, great character. That speaks volumes of who he is. So, I mean, just giving you a little information about what to expect, be nice and calm, cool, and just go cut it loose. Derek's been awesome, and couldn't ask for a better leader in that room. Thank you.
This is what I hope. Let me tell you what I hope right now. I hope Spencer Rattler lights it up Sunday. and I hope he lights it up Thursday. And I hope he is the future franchise quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. I really hope this is one of those moments, those Disney Channel movie moments, whatever, where CJ Stroud steps in, changes the Texans, boom, all of a sudden, he's the talk of the town. Jordan Love steps in, boom, he's the talk of the town. Cam Newton, I hope we are on the precipice of that. I hope we are right in front of, damn, this is the next guy. This is the next guy for the next 8-10 years that's going to be the quarterback of this franchise. This is him. That's what I hope it is. I hope if I could push a button and make that a thing, I would push that button and say, you know what? Spencer Rattler plays really well. We win these games. He's throwing it all over the place. He's the starting quarterback for the future. Boom. That's it. Never look backwards. Rattler starts for the rest of his career. That's what I hope happens. Will that happen? Hard to predict that. I mean, that's like, one in, that doesn't happen very often. But the point is it does happen. The point is it does happen. Happened with Brock Purdy. Happened with CJ Stroud. I mean, it's happened recently, right? Where you see this stuff happen, and then, okay, well, all right, this is the guy, this is the future, this is the franchise, we're moving forward. It's happened with Jordan Love. So I think there is a less than, it's not impossible, okay? There is a greater than 0% chance that it happens. Is it a 1% chance? Is it 2%? I don't know about all that, but there is a chance that Rattler goes out there and absolutely lights it up. And he absolutely shows all those gifts and all the talent that he had. So I'm rooting for him. I really am. I have absolutely no hesitation. I have no like, oh, well, we just got to get back to Carr. Or, oh, well, Haener should be starting. I'm all in. All my eggs are in the basket. I hope Spencer Rattler is the best quarterback in my lifetime. Like, I hope for the next couple of years we're talking about Spencer Rattler MVP and we're talking about whatever. Like that, and again, is it impossible? No. Who would have thought that last year CJ Stroud would have been up for the MVP? Who would have thought that this year Jaden Daniels would be up in the MVP conversation, right? Who would have thought that this year Sam Darnold would be up in the MVP conversation? I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, just because it sounds crazy doesn't mean it's impossible. And remember, everything is crazy until it happens, okay? If Kanye West would have said, hey, I want to be a billionaire one day, people would have said, you are crazy. Then when it happens, right? Kim Kardashian, same thing. Like these people who it just happens, it sounds insane until it's not, okay? We're in that realm right now where anything is possible, okay? So you might as well root for the greatest positive. I am all in on Rattler. And my God, we are a couple days away. I'm so excited. Get on down in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.